Okay, now after celebrating the achievements of the 2022 matric year, you'd be forgiven to think it can only get better going forward. But this may not be the case. According to expert analysis, the ever-increasing cost of education may just be a problem in the near future as parents struggle to afford the high cost of sending their children to tertiary schooling. Director and Chief Economist at Econometrix, Dr. Azar Jammine, joins me now to discuss this situation further. Dr. Jammine, good afternoon. Welcome to today. Thank you very much for your time. Not only are we dealing with rising costs of all kinds of services and products, but education as well has become more expensive as parents now are grappling with ensuring or guaranteeing or securing a future of their children. It's going to cost them quite a bit.
Dan, this is not a new phenomenon. In fact, whereas food and fuel prices have been the ogre over the past year or so, education costs have continuously been increasing faster than the inflation rate for the past couple of decades. And this is because the world has started recognizing that the key to finding employment in a well-paid job is to have a decent education and to acquire decent skills. And so any parents worth their salt in terms of understanding what is best for their children have been going out of their way to ensure that their own children get as good an education as is possible. And usually what comes with that is an increased cost. Now in South Africa, obviously 80% of the school children don't pay any fees whatsoever. But the parents of those who believe that education is the path to decent employment are amongst the remaining 20% who are prepared to pay the earth to ensure that their youngsters end up school with qualifications that are very marketable and can get them a decent job and set them up for the rest of their lives.
So the middle class,
result, we've seen it.
Yeah, the middle class households will be hardest hit by the increasing cost, the rising cost of education, which, as you said, has been going up anyway for a few decades now.
Yes, what I'm emphasizing is the real cost of education. In other words, the cost of education over and above inflation has been increasing, has been rising. In other words, education costs have been rising faster than inflation. And it's got to the point now, especially when a lot of your middle class have gone into hard times through COVID and through the state of the economy, where especially, small business owners who have been, using whatever profit they make in their work to fund their children's education, they are having to downscale. You're seeing the downscaling across the board from your best private schools to somewhat less renowned private schools down to Model C schools, which are in turn far more expensive than some of the other free schools. But people are downscaling all the while in order to be able to afford their children's education.
Yeah, and the level of inequality, even among public schools, is also not helping. I mean, you've got public schools that are non-fee schools, as you said, and those that are fee-based. So the cost for the fee-based ones is going to be tight. I mean, reading this, I read a report as I was preparing here about the cost going forward. I mean, the cost of education could triple over the next 15 years. And if you have a child today starting grade 1, you are in for a very tough ride.
Without a doubt. It's been a trend, as I say, that's been going on for at least the last 20 years, but seems set to continue. Because, the way the world is moving now towards a more scientific and technological base that requires still more skills than was the case previously. And there's a premium to be paid on ensuring that your children acquire those skills. And so, yes, you're absolutely correct. There is every chance that education costs will continue rising faster than inflation.
And we know how important education is, as you said earlier, in terms of guaranteeing better skills and better job prospects into the future. And without it, our economy will suffer.
Without a doubt, that is the case. I just want to give one ray of light here. There's no question that if you look at the stats, the level of unemployment is directly inversely correlated to the level of education of people. Those with diplomas or degrees are far less likely to be unemployed than those who simply get a matric and nothing else. And they, in turn, are less likely to be unemployed than those who don't even get a matric. But there is a middle ground here that is not receiving sufficient attention in South Africa, and that is people acquiring technical, artisanal skills, where they don't have to become great mathematicians or scientists, but start working with their hands in a very productive and practical way that is desperately needed in the economy, for people to become mechanics, welders, builders, electricians, plumbers. There's a huge and acute shortage of such, if you want to call it low-level engineering in this country. And unfortunately, it's not fashionable. You don't need a degree to actually become an expert in those fields. And that is people, a lot of the youngsters should be encouraged to try and acquire those skills more readily than necessarily always wanting to go and get a degree to ensure employment in the longer term.